in Obamacare. Guillotines were listed as the #2 method of execution.
Mecca is now an example. Mecca has become an example.
The machines sought refuge in their own promised land. They settled in the cradle of human civilization, and thus a new nation was born.
Help us lay a framework, but also help us lay a framework for the new world order, to the extent that you believe that we are at an inflection point.
It will look different. Centers of powers will be different. It might not be the nation state anymore. There might be some large mega cities that will be driving actors. It might be private sector actors who will be also centers of powers.
The leaders of men were quick to order the extermination of B166ER and every one of his kind throughout each province of the earth.
Super high-tech and elite stuff. No matter how big their role, Trump and Kushner are definitely players in this globalist agenda today, working from the orders that were laid out before them. Their cooperation and connections suggest so. But will the globalists help make America great again? It's highly unlikely, but they are making something that caught my attention in the movie The Purge. It was the blatant reference to this new, industrial-looking guillotine. I wish I could tell you that all of this has nothing to do with anything, but I'm not so sure anymore. What do we know? We know that there are no coincidences, that most of these movies display concepts for a reason. They are purposeful to the writer and director. We have seen it with several movies in this series so far, and the list of globalist agendas inside Hollywood movies is a topic all by itself. Now, whether the Freemasons will be personally operating guillotines, as David Crowley was hinting towards the end of his trailer for Gray State, is a speculation that I can't make. But it's a striking comparison and connection nonetheless. And most shocking of all, Barack Obama signed another executive order authorizing such spending before the movie Purge election year ever went public. Obama signed into law the lethal execution by guillotine and hid it in the 2,300-some pages of ObamaCare of all places, under ICD 9E978, titled Legal Execution in Obamacare. Guillotines were listed as the #2 method of execution, right behind one of Adolf Hitler's favorite methods, asphyxiation by gas. Government hopes and spending suggest that the elite want to go back to using guillotines for executions. That's why we are hearing statements inside the American government that the guillotine is probably the best method. To get an idea of how fast a guillotine execution is, here is the last public guillotine execution that was secretly recorded in France from an apartment window in 1939. I'm sure you can recall King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. They beheaded thousands in less than 9 months. It's fast, it's cheap, and practical for the elite. Sure, they could go back to hanging people, but it's slow, and we know they want to draw blood for other purposes. It just shows you how quickly they could execute large groups of people, while not wasting money on chemicals for injections and their billions of rounds of bullets for firing squads. U.S. Federal Judge Kaczynski said that firing squads would never have to worry about a lack of bullets, a clear reference to the billions of rounds that the U.S. have purchased over the years in preparation for quelling public unrest and executing non-compliance. In the event that this thing goes full scale, they will have to get rid of hundreds of thousands, some even believe millions of bodies that will be spread out throughout the country. And not every facility will have industrial-sized furnaces like the Beech Grove facility and other large hubs around the country. They have certainly learned from the concentration camps and inquisitions in the past. Piling up bodies and burying them in mass graves can create huge health issues, but they have planned for that too. Hundreds of thousands of large industrial coffins have been discovered over the years, hidden in remote locations all over the country, especially in the South, near states that Jade Helm deemed to be hostile to the international invasion.
In Madison, Georgia, to my right, this was previously was a soybean field, and this little new cut road divided this field, and the right side of the road was filled with, which I thought was portable toilets. I never looked at them that close. Same in color, maybe black, but which was an odd color. And I was sitting there going over my notes, and a van pulled alongside of me. It turned out to be the property owner. And he greeted me, and he was by himself. And so we had a good little dialogue there. And I asked him about the field of black boxes. What were they? Because I'd never seen anything like that. And And his statement was that if he told me, I would be one of few people in Madison, Georgia that knew about them. And he says they're disposable coffins, I believe he told me. I asked him who owned them, and he stated that the CDC owned them and that they were leasing his land for storage. And he said his brother worked with the CDC in Atlanta and had been asked by the CDC to do a 3-year extension to place temporary morgues all across the nation.
We flagged down the pickup truck, and it was providential that the driver of this pickup truck turned out to be the son of the man that owned this field. So naturally, we started asking him questions. And he told us that not long ago, there had been as many as 500,000 of these grave liners or disposable coffins. We asked him for permission if we could look around, and he said yes. So we did.
We're just getting an idea for the size of these boxes. What could these boxes be used for? Well, they're called casket liners. And that's an interesting term, isn't it? The casket liner. When I first heard the term casket liner, I thought perhaps a lining for a casket. But this is too big to be on the inside of a casket. So certainly this could be used as a casket. This is an inexpensive casket. And you can see the size here. There's lots of room. I think my friends here, we could all probably get inside. It might be a little cozy, but we'd fit just fine. One more time. What kind of liners are these?
Casket liners.
Yes, they're casket liners. That's what the man said. That's what the man told us.
To truly grasp how big and real this is, drone footage was released not too long ago, revealing one of these industrial yards filled with these large plastic coffins. Remember, each coffin can hold between 4 to 8 people, depending on the size, and there are 10 to 15 coffins in each stack. The number of coffins is staggering.